Welcome to the Center Shots video here at BOWHUNTINGmag.com. If you go back to the November issue, I talked about my favorite stand. And I didn't specifically talk about one particular stand location. What I talked about was a category of stands or a type of stands that have really served me well over the years. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in this quick episode, and hopefully I can inspire you to either create or find a location like this in the area where you hunt. The ideal location in my mind is a spot where I can create a really small food plot, maybe a half acre to an acre maximum in size, tucked someplace back into the timber. Someplace that's secluded where the deer can hit that spot. The bucks will come into that food plot the last place they go before they bed down for the day, first place they come to when they get out of their beds in the evening. It's kind of a social gathering point for the deer. It's a place where the does will come through, they'll feed a little bit, and then they'll drift off to their bedding area, and the bucks will come through looking for the does. Any deer coming through that area winds up going through these little small micro food plots and making it the perfect location for catching a buck that's cruising during the rut. So let's talk a little bit now about how you go about not only just hunting these spots, but setting them up. I mean, for me, you can't beat clover in a small location like this. You can put other crops in there, but unfortunately the deer will feed on them too aggressively during the summertime, and there won't be anything left by the fall because the plots are just too small. They can't sustain that kind of pressure. So clover is really your best choice. Clover is pretty easy to establish. It's fairly inexpensive. You can get something like that going without a whole lot of direct sunlight. So consider clover in your small micro plot. And location wise, I'm always looking for a place that's up on top of a ridge, someplace where the winds are going to be steady. You know, the valleys are always tempting because there's a lot of deer sign down in those bottoms, but I try to stay away from the valleys with all my little micro plots that I'm going to be hunting, just because of the way that the wind swirls down in those bottoms, and you get up on the ridges and you get the more steady winds. I like a spot that has a safe direction. In other words, someplace on the downwind side where the deer are not likely to come from, whether it's a steep drop off where your scent can blow out over the bluff, or maybe it's a river or a pond or a lake, or maybe even it's a busy road where you can access it from that direction. Your scent blows in that direction, which just happens to be a direction that the deer aren't likely to approach from. So obviously that makes it simple. You come in from that side, you set up on that side, you let the deer feed into the plot, move towards you. Don't try to set up where the deer come out and move into the plot. I would much rather set up on the opposite side where the deer come out and move towards me. That way it's a lot easier to get away with hunting it, and you can have your scent blowing, like I said, away from the plot and into a direction where the deer aren't likely to come from. So those are my tips, and I've got a number of spots like this on our farm. I mean, they're perfect staging areas. These are the kind of places where, I mean, really, if I had no other type of location to hunt, they work well in the mornings and they work well in the evenings. If I had no other type of location on the whole farm to hunt, I'd be totally satisfied every year during the rut. We're hunting a spot just like this last season when a really good old buck showed up. Had a lot of history with this deer. I'm guessing he was at least a 7.5-year-old buck. He'd been on our farm for a long time. He came in, you can tell by the way he's moving through this food plot, he didn't come in to feed. He's just coming through to check things out, to see if there's any does around. He comes right on past the stand. I grabbed the camera and filmed what would normally be my cameraman, Greg Clements, making a perfect 15-yard broadside shot on this old 10-pointer. This is just an example of how this type of a stand location works. This is a morning hunt, and like I said, I mean, mid-morning, plenty of daylight, full daylight. This buck wasn't there feeding. He was there because of the social attraction of these small micro plots. He was there looking for does.